them up with groups that can help them in the short term too. I think you can provide a very good, kind of router role to help them get the help that they need.
Great, thanks, Chris. Right, I'll move on to our second speaker now. Dr. Aswami Arifin has spent his career working on cybersecurity, working with the government of Malaysia, and has long experience looking at it from the government's perspective. So, Dr. Arifin, over to you.
Okay, thank you, Mark, and thank you for inviting me to this seminar. Let me share my slide presentation first. Yeah. Okay, I think it's a good start, by Chris just now, just to give some kind of overview what's happening all around the world, especially with regard to ransomware or cyber threat. So I try to bring the audience to the government setup of a developing country. So I think first of all, I think the most important thing is to devise the policy. Because from the policy, then a lot of action plan, implementation in terms of operation in order to attend to cyber incidences, right from the incident response till digital forensics investigation. So I believe, I think each country or economy, we are going through digital transformation. So in short, is to me, the keyword here for the audience is digital civilization. So for a developing country, just like Malaysia, I think the internet penetration is okay, and the government is putting a lot of other policies, for example, like 5G. And with 5G, I think it's just like opening the floodgate. It has its good things. For example, like it's easier to do some kind of transaction or other e-businesses, and at the same time, the cyber criminals, based on our observation, they are 2 or 3 steps ahead, and it's just like easier for them in the future, to be able to conduct their illicit activities. So that's why devising policy is very important. So we are observing in terms of penetration, in terms of other kinds of activity. For example, like the application of smart city due to the to push the economic activity in terms of digital transformation or digital economy, because we are seeing that this is very important. So there's a lot of policy is being devised in terms of 4IR, in terms of little bit here and there. For example, like smart city, to be able to have guidelines for the people who is pushing for certain project. For example, like what I've given here, the smart city. So all in all, what I'm trying to provide to the audience today, that due to the digital civilization all over the world happening, and as a developing country, we are devising so that we have a very good policy, and from the policy, the activities after that is being devised, so that the development and the progress, it has to be adhering to the policy or the law being given by the government. Yeah. So after the digital transformation, what we can see, we try to understand the risk. So what is the risk? We are seeing a lot of developments. In particular, is the 5G. So in short, just to trigger some kind of discussion later on with the audience and also the learned panelists here, we are opening the floodgate, based on the risk that we have seen in the wild, whether the attribution is a nation state, is happening in Malaysia, trying to get some kind of intelligence information, cyber criminals, syndicate, as likely mentioned by Chris just now, hacktivists, insider threats. So all these categories, we are, attending to the cyber incident. That's why in Malaysia, we are uh, addressing or approaching it in a three aspect. The people, I just call it, it's just an acronym, CyberFit, so that, actually my staff or, other people who is coming for our training. So I'm just trying to tell them that, we have to be fit among the fittest, because as observed by our technical staff that, the cyber criminals, they are 2 or 3 steps ahead. And after that, what is important is to take action based on the intelligence, based on the instances. How do you do some kind of research so that all these movement or activities of the technical people, the policy and whatnot, so we have a very good standard operating procedure. At the end of the day, it's the cyber defense. I call it in an acronym of cyber def. So how do you, detect based on, threat intelligence? In the past, what we have done that it is purely based on incidences reported to us. So how do we, decrease the number of incidences by 20 to 30%? So threat intelligence is very important. Of course, we have a cert, national cert, and followed by digital forensics capabilities. So this is what I'm trying to, share with the audience again. We have a nation, we call it nation cybersecurity strategy. We have 5 pillars altogether. The first one is the governance, yeah. So so that with the governance, with the policy at the top level, all those, for example, like critical national information infrastructure, be it the government sector, of course, the financial sector, they are very matured, and other critical sectors, we need to be able to lend our assistance in terms of not only technicality, but also in terms of devising policy, focusing in their certain areas. For example, like defense area, or even the water, or and also energy. So the second one is more on forensic. The first one is, of course, we are trying to build what we call is a advanced security operations center. The second one is more on, to enforce it through the capabilities of digital forensics. And some the third pillar is more on R&D, so that some of the cases that we observe or attend to, no, not only we are using some of the commercial tools to be able to land the technologies to the practitioners, but the engineers and the researchers, they need to be able to develop, not only policy papers, but also in terms of technology to, pass it to their practitioners. And I think my colleague just now mentioned about capacity and capability building, and international cooperation, not only at domestic level, is very important, because we are against, a borderless adversary. Yeah, so cooperation, collaboration is very important. So right here in Malaysia, we have established, Cyber Security Malaysia. It's a, a technical reference center to be able to lend our assistance to the law enforcement agencies. We have been working, with other certs, US certs, all over the world certs, and we are also the chair of AP certs, together with Australia, Japan, and Korea, and the rest of the economy. The next one, quickly, I just would like to share with the audience that we have a platform for research, because it's not easy. I mean, in the early days, we just procure some kind of commercial tools, but at the end of the day, the technicality is getting more sophisticated, more challenging. So the practitioner, they must have some kind of customized tools. So the R&D or the engineers, they are assembling together, trying to think of something and to be able to provide some kind of technologies, for example, cyber threat intelligence, using some kind of AI, machine learning, to be passed to the practitioners, so that immediate action, actionable intelligence can be taken immediately. So again, I would like to bring the audience. We have a training scheme. It is very important, not only for cybersecurity Malaysia staff, but at the moment due to the pandemic of COVID-19, some without some kind of job, we are giving them some kind of training. Some of them, they have background of IT, and then if they want to have some sort of skill in cybersecurity domain, we are providing that kind of training, yeah, based on their experience of as a practitioner. We have a SOP. Sometimes some of the incidents can be at international level, so our counterpart through the collaboration of mutual treaty, they can come as far as from the US. They flew to Malaysia, and together we sit down, and it's good to have some kind of SOP, a standard operating procedure that is similar to other economies. Then it is easier to do further investigation or incident handling. This one is just at Cybersecurity Malaysia, we have some kind of a SOC, so that the coordination at the national level can be taken, practically. I mean, so that the victim will be able to report to Cybersecurity Malaysia, and immediate action can be taken, and then to attend to their victims. How do we, mitigate, remediation, to clean up the system, right until forensic analysis, so that hopefully we are trying to test some kind of act or law, so that some of the perpetrators can be brought to the court. And as this is a borderless, that's why collaboration and cooperation, not only at domestic level, at international level, is very important. Last but not least, this is just a little effort that we have put forth, because based on the MITRE attack diagram, we understand, based on our experience, human is the weakest link. Not only training, it needs to be provided to the practitioners, but at the same time we are carrying a lot of awareness activity, so that the users of digital devices, they are able to understand, because it's quite technical to some of them. And then from time to time, we are trying to provide some kind of education to the users of digital. Again, as a key takeaway or key pointers for the audience today, digital civilization, it comes with some kind of risk, and we put the risk as opening the floodgate. Of course, it has its good intention, but at the end of the day, it's just two sides of a coin. It has its bad things. That's why we are devising the policy. We have some kind of platform in terms of operation to attend to the victims, yeah, at the end of the day. So as a conclusion, again, I believe that the theme of this seminar is very important, especially to have some kind of what's going on in a developing country. Yes, we have some kind of development, a platform, so that when we embrace the digital transformation, rest assured, to the investors, to the local businesses, that we have, a setup, for example, like Cybersecurity Malaysia. If any kind of incidences happen, they will be able to report to, Cybersecurity Malaysia. And as another important thing, coordination. The trust is very important, because our adversary, we have common, enemy. It's just a click of a mouse, they can infect the victim computers or servers. And again, we need to have a very good collaboration, among the other economies. With that, I think that's about it. Mark, back to you.
Thank you very much. It's great to hear the perspective of Malaysia. I'd like to ask you a question where you think about your experience in Malaysia. First of all, I should say that Malaysia, both in the digital transformation journey and in its cybersecurity response, I suspect is quite far ahead of many countries, other developing countries. And there are, people from some of those countries connected today. So I wondered if you could just share with us, if you could look back over the Malaysian experience over the last 10 years around cybersecurity and, ransomware specifically, but cybersecurity more generally, what would be your top 3 recommendations to other developing countries for how they should be responding to this threat?
I think the first thing is a good question, by the way. I think the first thing is to devise a good policy. A policy is to start everything. So with the policy, you are able to get some kind of budget because again, to certain businesses or organization, we have to present to the board, giving some kind of confidence that this is something not additional. Cybersecurity is part of your business. That's why policy is very important. And to provide to the audience that the best approach is in terms of people, process, and technology, because all 3 is components that are very important. So you have to have a very good practitioners, to be able to attend to the incidents. And the SOP, a standard operating procedure, is a guide to the practitioner, so that every activities or analysis is according to the SOPs. Because at the end of the day, it's about collaboration. Not only you have to go to the court, but again, collaboration. When you do your analysis, it must follow a very good standard, because we are against a common enemy. It is borderless, and through the collaboration, it's easier for your counterpart to be able to understand your report. And at the end of the day is the technology. Technology is very important, due to the numbers, or a huge amount of data. That's why some of the activities or research and development that we have conducted in Malaysia, in terms of developing big data security platform, ingesting a lot of data, and from the data, how do we use machine learning, AI, to be able to provide some kind of visibility to the practitioner. And at the end of the day, the practitioner, they have to go on the ground to settle some kind of issue. Back to you, Mark.
Great, thank you very much for that. And now we're going to have a change of perspective. We're going to turn to Dr. Bunt, who works for Swiss Re. And just before we do that, I just would like to say just a word about why we've invited an insurance company to come and talk at the cybersecurity, the awareness about cybersecurity, cyber risks within the government of Malaysia. You were talking from your perspective and your position with a group, department within the government which is specialized in it. But how far across the government does that awareness and spread, would you say, and what needs to be done in order to promote that further within governments?
Thank you, Mark, for the question. I think as a developing country, we are still in the midst of digital transformation. It's not a full-fledged. The maturity is not there yet, but thanks to again, fortunate or unfortunately to the COVID-19, the awareness on the importance of digitalization is very important. So when COVID-19 hits the world last year, so the dependency to the e-transaction digitalization has increased in Malaysia. So from there onwards, as a national set, we have been receiving incidences, and based on the observation, the government is trying to provide a lot of awareness. That's why one of the initiative by Cybersecurity Malaysia, we provide a website. We call it Cyber Safe, safety awareness for everyone. So we call it Cyber Safe. So we came up with a little acronym, so that the users of or the netizen will be able to understand. So to answer you again, human is the weakest link, and we have gone to the level of secondary school, even to the children, by giving some kind of topic, so that they will be able to understand the risks at the earliest possible stage, so that they will be able to provide some kind of solution. So we go to the secondary school, to the college, and we provide some kind of a debate platform, and they came up with all sorts of solution from every states in the country. Again, to answer your question just now, having a good policy, having a good operational system in hand, for example, like to respond to incidences, for example, like ransomware. We are being hit by R-Evil, Lockbit 2.0. It's just the same. What's happening in other economy is happening in Malaysia. So at the end of the day, we have to tackle the human, so that they would be able, to regulate themselves. And at the end of the day, we hope that the number of incidences can be decreased, hopefully in the future.
Great, thank you. So we've got time for one more question. I'm going to ask a question which is based on a question that was put in